geometry folks, and welcome to Other Angle Relationships Within a Circle. We're going to learn about all the other types of relationships within a circle. So you need your angles chart, your notes, a calculator, a pen, and a pencil. So on your chart, you should already have these two filled out. If you have a central angle inside a circle, the arc is equal to that angle. Okay. You should also have that if you have two chords that form an angle, because they meet on the circle and they form an angle, that their angle is the arc divided by 2. So the arc divided by 2 will give you the angle. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about what we would do if we have an angle on the circle but not formed by two chords. We have it formed by a tangent and a chord. So this angle is still considered on the circle. So the angle will continue to be half of the intercepted arc. All right, so this angle is still going to be half of the arc that's intercepted. So if you go ahead and get that chart out, you will see that we will say if you have a tangent and a chord, but you have an angle formed on the circle, the vertex is on the circle, then it will still be the arc divided by 2. So this angle right here would be this arc divided by 2. Or if I want to look at the other angle, if I was looking at the other angle over here, then it would be half of this arc. Okay? So no matter which side you have, it would be half of the arc. All right, now what are all the other possibilities? Now you need to put this in your notes. The other possibility would be that if I have two chords intersecting to make angles within the circle. So if I have something that looks like this, okay, I could have two chords or two secants. This could be two secants as well. Okay, chords and secants. Chord is the segment and secant would be the segment continued on both sides. So if I have two chords or two secants and the angle is formed inside the circle, then this is the new relationship. It would be the arc, this arc over here, and this arc over here, added together, divided by 2. Or you can say the average of the two arcs across from the vertical angles. So this angle would be this arc plus this arc divided by 2. Now these two are vertical angles. So these two angles are going to be congruent no matter what. So this angle is also arc 1 plus arc 2 divided by 2. Okay? But what if the angle is outside the circle? Okay, so I could have two tangents, two secants, a tangent or a secant. And if I have any one of those three possibilities, if the angle is formed outside the circle, you would take the larger arc minus the smaller arc and divide by 2. And that will give you this angle outside the circle. Okay? So those are the other two possibilities. So I want you to fill out your chart now. If I have two chords and they form an angle inside the circle, not the central angle, but any other angle inside the circle. These are not central angles. These angles will be congruent and they will be the arc plus the arc. So this arc plus this arc divided by 2. This could also be two secants. Okay? The key is that the angle is inside and it's not a central angle. Okay? The other three that we just talked about were the outside the circle angles. Those are all arc minus arc divided by 2. So if I have this arc, subtract this arc, divide it by 2, I'll get that angle. Okay, again, if I have two secants, the arc, the larger arc, subtract the smaller arc, divided by 2, will give me that outside angle, which is right here. If I have a tangent and a secant, same thing. The large arc, subtract the smaller arc, divided by 2 will give me that angle. Okay, so this should complete your chart. All right, now you need to take out your notes because we are going to do 4 examples. So the first one says, let's solve for x. So if I have my chart next to me, some of the things that I am going to be paying attention to if I were doing these problems, I would find out, first of all, what kind of things do I have going on in the circle? I have a tangent line. I have a secant, okay, and I have an angle that is outside the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my chart and I'm going to say, okay, I have an outside the circle angle and it's formed by a tangent and a secant. That must mean I need arc minus arc divided by 2, and that will give me my angle. Okay, so here is the first arc, which is 78. Subtract the second arc, which is 42, and divide that by 2. 78 minus 42 is 36. 36 divided by 2 would be 18 degrees. So x is 18 degrees. All right, so that example needs to be in your notebook. Here's another example. What do I have going on? I have 2 chords, okay, and I have an angle inside. So I'm going to look at my chart, and I know if I have 2 chords or 2 secants and it's inside, then it is arc plus arc divided by 2 will give me that angle. So arc 1, 89, plus 63, which is arc 2, divide that by 2, I get 76 degrees. So that angle is 76 degrees, which is x. Now if this is 76 degrees, then so is this one right here, because those are called vertical angles. All right, 2 more examples. Please write these down in your notes. So I want to find the value of x. I have a chord and a tangent. So if I have a chord and a tangent and my angle is on the circle, I would look at my note sheet and I would know that the angle is equal to the arc divided by 2. So the arc here is 228 divided by 2. I would get x equals 114 degrees. So this is 114 degrees. Okay. Last example. Please put this one in your notes as well. I have a chord and a tangent, and it's on the circle again. So that means I have angle is equal to arc divided by 2. Okay. I want this arc though. All right. So what do I know about a tangent line or any line? Any line has a degree of 180. If I take 180 minus 118, I will find out that this angle right here is 62 degrees. So I have my angle is 62 and my arc is what I'm looking for, which is I could go ahead and plug in an x there for the arc. And to solve for x, I would multiply both sides by 2, and I would get 124 is this arc over here. Okay, there's a couple of ways you could have done this. You could have actually went ahead and found this arc, okay, and then subtract it from 360. So that would have been another possibility. All right. Thank you for taking good notes, and we will come back again tomorrow and we will work on practicing these other relationships with circle skills. Thank you and have a good evening.